It's me, Sparky, back with another reaction video. So, today we're going to be reacting to Jaiden Animations. My birds laid eggs. So let's get right into it.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've had a story to tell, but I have a story to tell,
Okay.
and it's because my birds accidentally laid eggs together without my consent. Okay, so let's back up. I'm sure the majority of you know this guy right here.
Yes.
Ari.
Yes.
Classic piece in the Jaiden Animations lore.
Yes.
If you don't know him, you don't know me. I keep Ari in his own room because he destroys literally anything if he has access to
my
it.
goodness.
In a way, you could call it a containment room. But when I'm not around to give him attention, I wanted to make sure he has a friend around and isn't just sitting there all alone and pitiful-like. So back in October 2019, I got Tofu, which oh my god, I'm just realizing is much
it's been 4 years.
Ago
oh my
I
goodness.
Tofu, I thought you were still just a baby. She definitely isn't as well known as Ari, but we're talking about her now.
Yep.
I was so nervous back when Tofu first arrived because I obviously hadn't gotten
Ari's
any other
just
pets
chilling
before, and it was really important that she and Ari actually got along. Birds can be pretty particular, and some just flat out hate each other for no apparent reason. Some sort of bird drama or something, I don't know.
Boy.
I was worried my birds were gonna mean girls each other, and then suddenly I'd have two singular birds, which then doubles my original problem. I went through the typical process you're supposed to do to introduce them, keep them in separate areas for a bit, let them kind of see each other, slowly introduce them
the way they look,
and suddenly
like,
they were best friends.
There we go.
I was
Good.
so happy. Plan B of having to get 4 birds was now not necessary. So great, everything was going according to plan. I have 2 birds that can keep each other company when I'm not around. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, everything will be alright, right?
That get
everything will be
alright.
No, definitely you doubt it.
Happy 3 years of 2 birds who were besties until this past spring where everything went wrong. How could this happen? I walked into the birds' room to give them their morning food, and on their dresser, I find 3 tiny little eggs. Uh-oh. And by the way, when I say tiny, I mean you would be shocked to see how small bird eggs can be. These things were the size of a quarter. Some of you may be thinking, Jaiden, why is this a bad thing? Jaiden, it's the gift of life. This is a beautiful moment of miracles. Okay, sure, but actually, no. First of all, I don't want more birds, especially fragile little fresh out the egg ones. Remember when I was worried I'd have to get 4 birds if Tofu didn't
have
Why am I experiencing
more than
the
4
same
with
dilemma
this
again? 2 birds is already enough, especially since one of them has devoted his entire life to being a full-time bastard. Anyone who has a gremlin pet understands that that creature is equal to like 3 pets worth of energy. It's a lot to handle at all times, and if my plate gets any more full, I'll unlock alcoholism. Second of all, this is now my problem that I need to handle ASAP. I can't be like, oh, I'm busy right now, I'll deal with it later. No, procrastinating would only lead to possible hatching. Not 100%, but there's a chance, I'll get to that later. Which leads back to my prior statement that I've stated multiple times at this point of I don't want more birds.
Yeah, you definitely don't want more. You already have 2.
Like, how did this happen? I've been preventing them from laying eggs together for so long. What changed? Unlike cats and dogs, birds can't really be neutered, at least not easily. You could give them like monthly hormone shots, or there's other stuff, but it's just really complicated, and you're better off simply making sure their environment is set up in a way to discourage nesting and egg laying behavior. There's a few things you could do to prevent it, but don't let them basically don't let them nest. Don't let the birds nest. If they find a dark little hidey hole, they'll start treating it like a nest and get hormonal, and suddenly you've got eggs. No nesting, for the most part, no problem. I looked around the room and was so confused.
There's like nothing in there.
Were their cages, climbing tree, and a drawer I bought to hold all their bird stuff. And the eggs were just on the top of the drawer too, not even in a safe burrowed nest-like place. One had already rolled off the side and cracked open on the floor like an omelet. Tofu, this is not even close to motherly instincts. After a bit of snooping around, I pulled the drawer back from the wall to realize, oh my god,
what
these birds have been secretly burrowing into the back of this drawer like they were plotting a prison escape. Somehow, Ari and Tofu squeezed their tiny bodies in between the drawer and the wall and started chewing the back of it to get into the drawers from behind. They literally gnawed through it like the nematodes in SpongeBob. You should have seen all the sawdust on the floor.
Wow, that's a lot.
Here's a picture, but
how in the world does a bird
manage? It looked like a
how do these types
construction
of birds
site
manage to
and
do that?
smelled like Home Depot. Suddenly it made sense. They were using the drawer as a secret nest. Whenever I was in the room, they were out and about. Hi, Mom, please give us seeds. Nothing nefarious is going on. I leave, and boom, straight to the forbidden nesting drawer they go. criminals. As
Oh,
I'm
goodness.
connecting the dots on how we got to this point, I realized I don't even know which one of these knuckleheads even laid the eggs. When I got Tofu, I made sure she was a girl. A little lady. I talked to one of my bird knowledgeable friends when I was considering getting another, and she recommended a female bird because there was a higher chance Ari would get along with her more than a male bird. So Tofu has been DNA checked and female certified. However, way back when I got Ari, I never got him/her checked. Green cheek conure genders can only be confirmed through DNA tests, and there wasn't really any important reason to know Ari's gender at the time. So I just
no. You're just like, nah, you didn't need it. Okay.
I just started calling him my big man because of the way he acted and behaviors he displayed felt very obnoxiously masculine. But it was always more of a gut feeling above anything else. But I am now facing a possible reality that my bird I've had for 7 years that I've been headcanoning is male could have been female this whole time and is the potential mother of these confusing eggs. Because yes, birds don't need a male around to lay eggs. Think about it like chickens. They just be laying eggs out the wazoo without a rooster in sight. They don't care. Boom, egg. If it's a girl bird, that thing can lay eggs whether you or a male bird wants it to or not. So in this situation, Ari possibly being a girl is the thing that's blowing my mind the most. But one quick peek at their little bird booty hole swiftly gave me the answer. It was definitely Tofu. If you know, you know. I'm just saying, laying 3 eggs a quarter the size of your whole body biologically does something to you. Anyway, I immediately booked a vet visit for Tofu. Laying eggs drains birds of their calcium and overall health, so I wanted to make sure she was generally okay. The vet took a look at her and was like, she looks fine, she's acting fine, we'll give her some vitamins. But she's still got more eggs in her.
Wait, what? Wait, what? What?
Well, how many of those things are you gonna cook up? Also, we gotta limit this whole ordeal to as minimal as possible, please, because that vet bill was not fun. We can't be making this a routine occurrence. It's no mystery laying eggs can also be pretty dangerous for birds. There's a chance it could get stuck, and the bird just dies.
Oh, boy.
And to be honest, I really didn't want that to happen. So
no, you don't
every
want
egg meant an extra mountain of stress and anxiety for me!
Oh, boy.
Yippee! The vet told me conures typically lay eggs every other day, so once she goes a few days without laying any, then I can come back and get her another checkup to really make sure she's all good. So I let time pass, and in total, Tofu ended up laying...
How many?
8 freaking eggs!
What?
She was not supposed to lay that many. Normally, conures lay clutches of like 4 or 5, so she basically laid 2 birds worth of eggs. I don't know what to do. But alright, she's finally done. We can now move on to the second step in the what to do when your bird lays eggs without your permission plan. I have to swap out the eggs for fake ones. If I just yoink Tofu's eggs away, she's gonna be like, what the my eggs? Dude, what the hell? I just laid those. And she's biologically programmed to start laying more to replace them. Luckily, my friends Jordan and Kelsey had some fake conure eggs because coincidentally, their bird laid eggs like 6 months prior to Tofu, so they already went through this process and were definitely
thinking of. I think I know what bird that is. I think it was in a previous video of Jaidenanimations.
Perfect. Like, Tofu is now trying to be a mother of 8 balls of plastic. After a few weeks of them not hatching, she'll move on, forget all about them, and everything will return to normal. It was a successful heist, as in I gave them both treats, stole all their eggs right in front of them, and they did not notice. You might be realizing, even though Tofu's eggs won't hatch, I still am in possession of actual real bird eggs that may or may not be fertilized. Yep, as much as Ari could have been the mother, he could also be the father. We don't know. Big drama. Are you the father? More like, is there even a father? After consulting with the vet and various bird resources, I basically had to make sure no birds could start growing in them just in case. Even though it's very likely they were just empty little chicken eggs, we couldn't run the risk. By the various resources aforementioned,
what are you gonna do?
I was given a few options. I was told I could smash them.
That's a bit much, don't you think?
A tad bit too violent.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. Jaiden, don't do that.
These your little eggs? The first eggs you've ever laid in your life?
No, don't do that.
Absolutely not.
Don't.
I could freeze them. Just put them in a little container, pop them in the freezer, and
that's
there you
not
go.
That's not too
but
bad.
The last option, which sounded the most insane in my opinion,
don't do it.
was to boil them.
Don't do that.
Make tiny little boiled eggs. Why does that one sound the most deranged and psychopathic? I know people consume all types of bird eggs all over the world, but boiling my own Conyers eggs just feels way past the line in mental sanity. So I popped them in the freezer to hang on to whatever humanity I had left after all this. And they've been there ever since.
You still
I still have them.
Why do you
I'll go to grab a popsicle and be like, oh, hello, tofu eggs. I don't know. Even though they won't hatch, they still feel special. They're my little baby tofu's little baby eggs. I don't want to just throw them away like they're nothing. I'll just keep them in my freezer forever because that's somehow the most sane option I was given.
I mean,
some people
it's not a
might be
bad
like,
option.
Jaiden, you should have tried to let them hatch. But you do not understand. I am absolutely, definitely not qualified to raise baby birds. I promise this was the best.
As well, you already
thing to
have
do for
two.
everyone.
You
For
already
me,
have two, Jaiden. I
for
think
the
that'd be a bit
eggs,
much.
For Ari and Tofu, God knows Ari would have been an awful father. Or mother. So that's what I've been dealing with over the past few months. Tofu's fine now. She's essentially back to normal. I have since removed the secret nest drawer they have claimed. I'm sure they weren't too happy about that one, but hey, you reap what you sow. People will tell me, oh, you're the reason I want a bird. And I always think to myself, man, that's unfortunate. The majority of people are not suited to own a bird. Case 1, they can cut through furniture like chainsaws. Case 2, they could lay eggs and curse you to put them in the freezer like the egg murderer you are. Or worse. I love my birds with all my heart, but if anyone ever asks me if they make good pets, I turn into the biggest hater. And if you're a good bird owner, you'd probably agree with me. Birds are beautiful, intelligent, loyal companions.
Yeah, they are.
But they're also knife tornadoes who can force you to question your own mortality as you spend a fortune on vet bills. Thanks for watching. Hey, by the way, do you want to see me in person in the flesh? James Ross Dom.
I never actually knew before this video that Jaiden had another bird. I did not know that. I thought it was just Ari. Like, I wasn't. This bird, I don't think, was never brought up, at least as far as I can tell, in videos. I've never seen it brought up before. That's the first time I've ever seen it brought up. So yeah, I'm gonna end the reaction here. Alright, bye everyone.